friends, do you realize that there are several ways to share Google Workspace files? When we're collaborating with our team or asking students to collaborate, different options for sharing can make a huge difference. Let's take a look. First, let's recognize that we can share all sorts of Google Workspace files: Google Docs, Google Drawings, Google Forms, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. And just like we learned when we were youngsters, sharing can be a great thing to do. For example, when we share a file and notice a mistake later, since this is a live document, users always have the most current file. Or when there are changes to a schedule and something needs to be updated, using a Google Workspace file is perfect. We can just correct the mistake or update the changed information and never have to send a new copy or a new link. There are different options for sharing Google Workspace files. With Google Forms, we generally send them to respondents, but we can add collaborators by selecting the Action button and then add collaborators for those we want to edit. There are also different options for sharing other Google Workspace files. We can share with specific individuals by simply selecting the Share button found in the upper right corner of the screen for any Google file. Then add any individual's name who's a member within our closed educational domain. We can share with an individual student, another staff member, or with multiple people just by entering their name. Once we have added their name for sharing, we can determine what permission option we want to extend to our collaborator or collaborators. That person could be an editor, a commenter, or a viewer. Editors can change anything in our original file just like we can. Commenters can only offer comments. Extending commenting permission is a great way for students to collaborate without allowing their peers to edit their work. We can make changes and updates, but others can only add comments which live off in the margins, a perfect option for peer reviews. Viewers can only look at our files without making any changes at all. This is a wonderful option when we want students or colleagues to read something but protect our original ideas and work. We can still make changes and updates, but nobody else can. If we always want files we create to be shared automatically, we can create a folder. Set the sharing permissions for that folder, then anything created within that folder is automatically shared with whomever has access to the folder. Another way we can share files is by selecting to change general access. By default, files are restricted and only accessible by the creator, unless they're created within a folder that's shared. When we select the drop-down arrow beside Restricted, we can select the option to share with Williamson County Schools. Then anyone within our district who has the link has access. The default for this option is to allow others to be viewers. When we select the drop-down arrow beside Viewer, we could select Commenter or Editor. Notice that there are other options too. One option is that others could find the file in Search Options when performing a search in Google Drive. The default is that other users must have the link in order to access. Google Workspace files, when shared properly, can be efficient, effective, and productive. No need to download or upload or print a new version. The latest version is available with a simple click. Once again, share Google Workspace files by adding individuals' names. Share automatically by creating a file within a shared Google folder. Share by changing from Restricted to Williamson County Schools. Select permissions options of Editor, Commenter, or Viewer, and determine whether a file can be found in search results or requires that a user must have the link to access. Well, that's a wrap for WCS Ed Tech Tip, Ways to Share Google Files.